Hello and welcome to Irish Football Fan TV. It's Gary Spain here with three talking points from Republic of Ireland nil, Wales nil. I'm going to start with a very positive talking point, our defence. It's the second game in a row we've kept a clean sheet. So 90 minutes, 30 minutes of extra time on Thursday and another 90 minutes here this afternoon. And we weren't threatened, and it's actually good to see because it was actually a concern of mine coming off the September window because we had been very solid under Mick McCarthy. It had been a strong point of the team, and it's great. We actually look solid again at the back, and we have looked very solid against both Slovakia and Wales. We haven't probably played the risky high line we saw in September, but it's also the players stepped in and played really well, and that's good to see, and it's definitely a positive going forward because every game starts at 0-0. It's an old cliche, but if you don't concede, it's not going to get any worse than that. And we do look really solid at the back, and we also have some options. Darren Randolph has been the standout in goal, and his position is not under any threat. Matt Doherty did well at fullback, I thought, and as an emergency centre back today. Seamus Coleman, when he's back from injury, will be also a good option at right back. John Egan was missing today. Shane Duffy had another solid game. He was very good as well on Thursday night. Kevin Long did well and unfortunately had to go off today after half an hour. And we've Enda Stevens at full back. And Cyrus Christie didn't let us down when he came on today as well. He's also an option. Unfortunately, he has two top-class right backs ahead of him in the role, but he still got some game time today when he came on. And so, as a positive and looking to move forward, I think our defence looks very solid under Stephen, and that is something to build on and look for the future. So, let me know your thoughts on that. Are you happy with our defence? Do we look solid at the back and something to build on? Second talking point, and it's going to be a controversial one. It's going to divide opinion again. And is it going to be another one with the League of Ireland against fans of the English Premier League? But anyway, I'm going to say it again because another talking point for me is Jack Byrne. And what do you talk about? Because we haven't seen him. What can he do? I know what he can do because I'm a fan of the League of Ireland, and he is simply the standout player this year in our league, not just for Shamrock Rovers, but across the league in general. And Jack Byrne has something that we don't have in the squad. We don't really have somebody to get on the ball to really pick out that killer pass. And he can also score goals himself. And it's something we're really lacking. We are crying out for a bit of creativity. And I was on about the positives of not conceding over the two games, the 210 minutes of football. We didn't score either. And we were, what do you say today? We were missing so many key players. We lost 5 players. I found out this morning that 5 players who could have played. And Jack Byrne was the only outfield player on the bench who I believe didn't get any game time today. And, I don't know. Are we using these Nations League games to experiment? Can we get a look at Jack? I really would like to see more of... give Jack Byrne at least... ideally, I'd like to see him start in Helsinki. But I would like to see Jack Byrne get some time on the pitch. I know it's a massive step up from the SSE Airtricity League to international football, particularly competitive international football. But we are using these Nations League games to experiment. So my shout would be Jack Byrne. I would love to see Jack Byrne get game time in Helsinki on Wednesday. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And finally, third talking point, James McLean. Look, I love James, and he gives so much to the team, and you can never question his honesty, his effort, his commitment. And actually, we looked more solid actually with him on the pitch on the left hand side. But there's also the downside, and he can be a bit of a headless chicken. And unfortunately, he did let himself down with the two yellow cards in quick succession today. And it probably certainly cost us any chance of winning the game. Thankfully, it didn't cost us the game. We certainly deserved at least a point. But it's just, he's so committed. If you could just channel the energy and the commitment, there is nobody, I don't think I've ever seen anyone going back to the days possibly of Dave Langan. Many of you won't remember Dave Langan, of course. But the commitment and the energy and he gives so much to the team. But he just needs to channel the aggression, and there'll be nobody more upset than James that he got the red card today. You could see his frustration, and he was clearly unhappy with the referee. But unfortunately, even as an Irish fan, I have to say the referee was right, and both yellow cards were justified. And we're going to miss James on Wednesday night against Finland, particularly with such a depleted squad. And well, it's going to cause a problem for him with Stephen now. I mean, is Stephen going to go with James for big games in November for the Nations League, and particularly when the World Cup qualification campaign starts in March? So what are your thoughts on James McLean? I know it's another controversial one, another one that divides fans. So should James be an automatic starter in the team? What does he need to do to curb his enthusiasm? And if he does curb it, do we lose something? Do we lose the player? If James is not the wholehearted, totally committed, heart in his sleeve type player, and he has to, do we lose something then? Is he not as effective? So it is a conundrum. It is a talking point. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already.